Okay, I know it's really late to do a May crochet vlog, but it took me forever to put this voiceover together, so here it is. I hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, my name is Abby. I run a little Etsy shop called Abby's Cozy Corner, and the month of May I did a ton of crocheting, so I thought I would put together a little vlog and take you along for the ride. Now to start, I did do my May bullet journal, and this one is so pretty. I tend to do like a 3-color theme of what I kind of feel like the month colors are, and this one definitely gave a lot of like tangled Rapunzel colors. I didn't mean to choose that, but I went with green and purple and yellow, and honestly this is my favorite part of the beginning of the month, and I get to write down all my goals, my appointments, special important dates, and I can kind of be mindless, but not completely. I can still get in my head about it. You'll see me constantly referencing the April one because I loved the April one so much. So I kind of took the inspiration of these little corners with the vines and the flowers along the border, stuff like that. So I really had fun making this. Also, you might be able to tell that a lot of my goals had to do with reading. I was definitely in my reading mood that month. I didn't finish a lot of them this month. Also, that little twirl with the pen, that's how it tells you I was thinking really hard. So my first big project for May was to try filet crochet, and I had a ton of this blue yarn that I never found any use for, and I gathered all these Pinterest references, and thankfully there were some comments in the main one I was using, which was this like rose, I think, and I completely did it wrong the first time. You're supposed to multiply the number of chains by 3 per box, but I literally just chained the initial amount and then put 3 double crochet into each stitch, which made a really wonky piece. Filet crochet, really difficult. I also was using the wrong yarn. I even ended up switching to a more cream beige yarn later that I liked more. Still not the correct type of yarn. I don't have the crochet like thread type of yarn. Still don't have that, but I had fun with the process, and this blue one later gets scrapped. This pattern, even I was using, I ended up changing to a different flower pattern that was a lot more simple, and I'll insert a picture of the finished product on screen because I don't think I got any footage of it, but yeah, here's me putting the 3 double crochet into each stitch, making this really wonky, tight edge before I realized my mistakes. And we scrap the whole thing eventually. I don't actually realize my issue until later though. So eventually I started again with a new flower pattern that was much more simple, but I was still doing the wrong number of double crochets. So I kept going at it. I was trying so hard. It was kind of looking okay. There's so many times I had to start over because I missed a stitch or missed a chain. The comments were very helpful in these pins, explaining what the heck was going on. But I restarted so many times, especially on that first row with the gaps. And I was actually having fun, despite it being really difficult and not going all that well. I was enjoying myself, so, it didn't all go to waste. I believe this was me realizing my double crochet mistakes and spending so long frogging this entire thing. I was so done at this point, but I don't know if it's being autistic or the ADHD or something, but I always get excited to start over a project, even if I worked really hard on it originally. There's always a little part of me that's like, well, I could start it over. That always sounds fun. So I started over, and with the correct number of stitches, and the border ended up much more complete looking and not so tight and overly stretched for the double crochets in it because I was doing the correct amount. And it started looking a whole lot better, but again, still not using the correct crochet thread. It wasn't even small enough. This was the smallest type I owned. And I ended up not liking the color, so I ended up switching to the brown later. However, after getting super fed up with not understanding these patterns, I decided to take a break and switch to something I did know, which was some crochet turtles. So this pattern is by Rose and Lily Amigurumi. She's like my go-to when it comes to cute amigurumi plushies with plush yarn, and I love her turtle pattern. And this one I did the mini turtle with some very pretty white or cream plush yarn that I had gotten, and a pretty corally pink. And this pattern is literally so quick. I think it took me about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to make, and it is minimal sew, and it was actually really fun. It was a nice change of pace, and it ends up being so cute. I also decided to use some adorable glitter eyes. I don't use them all that often, but I thought these like purpley pink ones look so good for this mini turtle. I end up using them on the bigger ones too. They were super hard to get in, though the eyes being so close in such a small place. They definitely poke together and it was really hard to get the backings on, but they ended up being super cute. So for my next project, I wanted to make a jumbo version of the mini like coral colored turtle, and this pattern was also by Rose and Lily Amigurumi. But after finishing the first fin, I started to realize I did not have enough yarn for this project, so I had to order some more of the cream yarn. And it was around this time that I realized how little yarn I had. That was all I had left right there. So I decided to pivot and to instead open some new blue yarn that I had and to make another mini turtle with the blue and the pink. And I don't love the color combo, but this was a nice way to wait, and it looks kind of like Squirtle. This was also a great break for my wrist. Doing that many repetitive rows for the bigger turtle does take a toll on my wrist. So this was very quick to work up. It doesn't take a lot of rows, and it was definitely a nice break in between the big turtle, which does take a lot of time. And this was fun to do while I waited for my yarn. I don't love the colors, but it is super cute. So I finally got the yarn back, and so I started on our jumbo turtle. I think I originally said that we were going to do the pink shell, but I ended up wanting to do the seafoam shell. And these do take so long to make. I have to take a lot of breaks in between, but they are so much fun and they're so adorable. The pink one I actually ended up giving to my mom for Mother's Day, and she loved it. Both of them are available on my Etsy if you would like to purchase them. No pressure though, but a little shameless plug. So I made I believe these were the front fins, and then the back fins are almost the same size, just like one row smaller. And using this thick yarn and these tight stitches, they really do take a toll on my wrist more than most projects, so I did have to take quite a few breaks in between. But I do love how fluffy. For some reason, the blue seafoam yarn is like a lot fuzzier than the rest of the yarn. It was super soft and really nice. I don't know, I might have already said that, but you can probably also tell that this took a few days based on the changes in lighting so frequently. There was quite a few day gap in between me setting up all of the fins and like moving parts and actually sewing them. They stayed in this position with them in their like holes for a few days before I actually got on to sewing them. It's not difficult, but I was just like procrastinating. But eventually I did get around to doing it. Also, during this time, I made a ton of bandanas that I did not get footage for. I kept forgetting to film whenever I would do it, but if you would like to purchase any of those, they will also be available on my Etsy, but I'll pop up a few on screen now. I'm sorry I forgot to record for them, but they did turn out so cute, and I got to use a ton of yarn I don't normally use. As we come to the final result here of the jumbo turtle, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe and leave a like, and I hope to see you all in the next video.